what it has turned into, because it was what it is now is what it was never intended to be. It never is. I mean, it is no longer the cultural expression and the inner thing that was within us. What it is now, do we actually still belong in that? So
there you go. There you got it, brother. That's
so
what
I'm saying is what he
Yes.
was saying was that the way that when just the question itself, without people really understanding the average person, because I think I think I'm kind of intelligent. I read a couple books and I study a few things. So sit here and really, because when you first said it, I was a little thrown back. I said, okay, Mike, think a little deeper. But the average person that's just listening here in the room is gonna say maybe you went a little too deep for them. So the statement itself may have been misleading. So he didn't want you to say that and mislead the average person that was just
right. I understand that.
Just want to have something
my
to grab
statement
on
is
to.
not to mislead; it's to make you realize there's another depth to this. That's the point. The point is to make everyone who's listening, even if it's too deep.
See what he was saying.
No, I got it. I understand him totally.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
people who leave it on the surface are going to weaponize that one statement is what Mouse is saying. They'll weaponize that, use it as a deflection, and will be completely fucked up and have another fight.
100%.
Some people will. Some people will.
No, absolutely, and that was Mouse's concern, and I understood both sides, but I hear where Mouse is coming from. So that's something that's easily weaponized.
Of the people who get on stage and perform the art, how they, I guess, deal with that dynamic.
I mean, that shit. That's why that's why she quit doing shows. She looked and she seen that it was majority white folks. It was over with. She said, I ain't doing it no more.
I think that and let me just make a point here. My issue is not with white people participating in learning how to dance, rap, or whatever. That shouldn't be a problem. That's a good thing. Somebody enjoys being in your culture and learning from your culture. That's one thing. If you notice, my deal was with the corporate side of it, the extraction of the culture. But if you, whatever background you come from, whatever color you are, whatever culture you originate from, if you are gravitated towards an energy that speaks to you and to how you feel and what makes you feel good, there's nothing wrong with that. And so we see that amongst us, there are people who are classified as Caucasian who truly connect to what we give to the world. That's been going on for generations. What you're seeing now from brothers like Search, that's not new. And if he truly feels that, or like the other brother who said they really feel it, it's who he is, then that's what it is.
For people to participate, to work in it, yeah, sure. Like, no industry, but like it's just all one thing. So of course, if I'm in the community and there's a Mexican restaurant that's hiring, I need a job, I'll go work there. So like, there's always going to be a place, but I have no autonomy or authority in that culture of what they sell, and that's the issue. And then when it comes to, and Mouse brought up before too, these executives, these media people, all that opinions on shit that you really don't hold no weight, and we ain't never seen you nowhere outside of your job. That's what people forget, is like, this shit ain't just a job to us. A lot of this shit we do, whether we work in this industry or not. And I don't be seeing half these niggas who, and when I say niggas, I mean white folks.
Sheesh.
I don't see none of these niggas in the spots that I be at where the culture's happening with or without them.
Ever.
So therefore, that tells me I don't need you to be here for me to still enjoy what was created without you in mind in the first place. So this isn't the attitude of where I'm just like, fuck them niggas, whatever. But it is like, don't get it twisted. If you weren't here, niggas would be okay. So don't get it fucked up. Like, we just need you to thrive and be successful. Like, this ain't that, my boy. So I just want to answer the question straight up and just say the answer is no, they don't belong, because it would be okay without them. But there is a place where we can work and participate together and do all that good stuff. Cool. But I just want to give my answer straight up. To me, the answer is
that motherfucking light. Steve-O saying,
yo, so
light.
Van and Mouse, you guys, you guys are the ones that had the conversation earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's one thing we haven't done here tonight is define the word belong. What does
Yeah, that's what I was
Steve-O,
gonna say.
That was the
Steve-O
first time we slanted off of it. But
Well,
I think homie just nailed it though.
Yeah.
Seriously, like
I do really,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that was it's
yeah,
nothing,
that's
it's
it.
really not a lot more you can say as far
Yeah.
as that's concerned.
yeah,
Because there's a difference between
Steve-O just
belonging and
nailed
being
it.
welcome.
Well,
That's it.
Steve-O,
Hey,
thankfully,
Steve-O,
Yeah,
closed the
you
room
got it.
now.
Steve-O,
Yep.
where the fuck you was at like 2 hours ago, my
I
G?
just been listening, bro. That's all.
I listen. Hey, look, I was
That's
trying
that
to
toxic
bring bro up.
humbleness. You need to bring your ass in here. You could have ended this. We could be done
Nah,
done already.
nah, this nigga been sitting down there, man. I ain't had no green bean. I knew bro was gonna say some enlightening shit. You
Not
know?
a green bean.
Nah, for real. Y'all
Grip,
niggas,
God
grip,
damn.
green bean king. I worked at a record label. Some of the corniest people up there were fucking black, and they don't know shit about. They don't know dick about hip hop culture or rap music. So it's not necessarily a black or white thing. You know what I mean? I know some white people that are out hip hop. Some of the people in this room. So
No, they won't, because it's not in them. You got to read that shit. You got to do. You got to do your research.
Mouse, stop it.
Stop what?
Hey,
No,
hold on.
I went to
Be
school.
that. Hold on,
Wait,
hold on.
Script, let him finish his point.
No, let me add something.
I went to school.
What the fuck does that mean? Out hip hop though, be that.
Like people that are immersed in hip hop culture. I know people that are white. I put it like this. I know people that aren't black, that DJ, that do graph, that know how to spit. They know who the players are. Like they're immersed into the culture. They're not uninitiated as to hip hop culture. They're not like culture vultures. Like they're immersed. They just have different skin color.
So if you do all the research in the world about the Holocaust, does that are you now
Jesus
out?
Christ.
Can you out
Okay.
Jewish person?
Judaism, the culture, tradition, and religion. I think that's part of the problem, right? This is Chase. Peace to everybody in the room.
What up,
Brother
Chase?
Miles. Peace to all y'all.
Peace, Chase.
Salam,
Brother,
Chase.
salam to all the brothers.
Salute.
And first of all, I gotta say peace to the brother and one of my, I can say many people on the stage, mentors in terms of train of thought and inspiration. Get into this, brother Grandmaster. Peace to the brother. I just wanted to say that I'm a person that, I've been living this hip hop culture, as we call it, but I'm very hesitant sometimes to refer to this as a culture because I know that's been homogenized and often used as the lowest common denominator in order to sell this as an entity across the world. Not that I don't understand the proponents that we live out and we hold dear that lead us to calling it culture. I just feel as though sometimes we put too much weight and brevity on the things that we do within this music and live it out as a part of our actual life and culture. For some of us, it is a reflection of our life and what we've been through, but for some of us, also very detrimental in terms of how we're perceived around the world. And I don't know if that's always good for us, and even leads to the problem. And I'm gonna just lead by saying this: I was very influenced and was a part of the Nation of Gods and Earths from the age of 14, probably through about 26. One of the things that I gravitated to the Nation of Gods and Earths, sort of 5% was how they broke down society. We had 85%. The 10% and the 5%. We all know that. And Brother Mouse, I ain't trying to get too hotepery.
Nah, I'm here. If we getting close, but we're not there yet.
Because my hotepery is heavily rooted in these streets too. So I'm gonna speak it how we understand it. I ain't gonna make it too difficult.
Thank you.
What I'm saying is, that particular breakdown in society led me to believe that the 10% of people, the bloodsuckers and poor, they knew civilization and felt they didn't feel as though they needed to share that knowledge with nobody else. I never wanted to be one of them people, right? That just seems selfish to me. If we create something that we call a culture, which at the very base of it is supposed to be for the betterment of us all, whether it be monetarily, spiritually, biological, whatever. We talked about all that shit. Why would we only make it inclusive of one race of people if it's for the betterment of man universally? When that's the very thing that we can persecute people like these country motherfuckers for doing to brother Lil Nas X. I'm striving to be better. Sometimes I'm wrong in being better. Sometimes I'm right in being better. So wrong and right don't necessarily mean as much to me. So also it's really about just being better. And if we trying to construct something for the betterment of humanity, then let's talk about humanity. So do they belong? Belong needs to be defined. I don't know if they belong. but it's definitely inclusive of all colors within this particular thing that we've come to call a culture. Peace.
And we never argued that. We never said that
I wasn't saying that as a position against anybody. I was just making an offer into the room. I just got it just 15 minutes ago.
We just saying, or me personally, I'm just saying that they need to step light. If you're gonna be here, step light. Don't hear B.
Well,
say,
are we to say that Nas X has to step light within the country arena?
We created country.
Here's the thing though.
We don't control the arena.
But we don't control that shit.
We don't control that arena now.
So that would be for them to dictate.
Yeah, that's for them to dictate. We talking about hip hop, and in hip hop, these white motherfuckers got to step light. So I don't want these white motherfuckers to be. Hold on, Vin. I don't want these white motherfuckers to be in this room and hear B. say, "Oh, because you more hip hop, you so immersed in hip hop."
But what makes somebody
step light?
Are you more concerned about how the truth is perceived or the truth?
You could talk about your Rorys. You could talk about your Adam 22s. You could talk about your Vlads. We could talk about a Leo.
Yeah, why do we need examples of this? This shit is obvious.
I thought
I asked them. I think there are very obvious examples, but I think it's kind of all over the place between rappers who.
But I said that from the beginning.
We talking about white
not
people,
just
period,
rappers,
not just rappers.
So
white
it's the
people,
executives, the media, the rappers, all of that. Them motherfuckers need to step light. And
I think a lot of people.
I got a question.
I think a lot of people enjoy white people in their hip hop, and they don't want to say it. But just say y'all want some white people in y'all hip hop. That's cool. That's how you feel. You want some white people in your hip hop.
If you like marshmallows on top of your candy yams,
that's cool. We ain't got to go back and forth about it.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I know if white people didn't exist in mine, I know I would still enjoy it and it would still be here, and that's what I know. So if y'all want some white people in y'all hip hop,
how old are you, brother Steve-O? How old are you, brother Steve-O?
30. 31, matter of fact. 31.
I don't know if there's a time that's existed when white people wasn't hip hop in your lifetime, brother.
And I'm saying there ain't no white person who changed my life in hip hop to where I need it. You can get rid of all the folks.
That's a different conversation.
I got you, but you only been here 30 years.
But this is where we haven't defined the word belong. Where Steve,
yo, one mic.
Right.
Yo, listen, we also said that I tried to bring that up, and I said we need to define the word belong, because at some point at some point this topic gets super misconstrued and then it goes 100 different places. Everybody's respecting everybody's opinion, but I feel a lot of times that the conversation goes so many ways because we're not defining the word belong. And that's
Steve-O defined the word belong. He defined it.
I know, but then Steve-O, when Steve-O said what he just said, Chase is challenging that by saying, with what his point was, which means that there's a lot of everybody's having a misunderstanding.
Hey Bishop, I think we need to be very careful when our miscommunication or our disturbance in dialogue comes from when we are defending white people as black people.
Right.
Like I think because that just don't make no sense. It ain't no room in the world where two white people going back and forth about.
Bro, we're not defending them. The topic of the room is do white people belong in hip hop.
You're defending the narrative that the rhetoric of it is corrosive to the foundation of hip hop, and white people can defend themselves, like Search did, like Apathy did, and how they feel, and we got respect for them still. It's no disrespect. It's just establishing grounds.
And to Los's point, that's my only problem. When we got motherfuckers so ready to defend motherfucking white people placing hip hop, the white people just shutting the fuck up, or they're not shutting the fuck up and exposing themselves. Either way, they could do it themselves.
So did you intend to have a room where nobody would have a difference in opinion? I'm just trying to figure it out.
No, that's fair. I just want to say something real quick, Mouse. When I say real quick, I mean it. Chase, when you said I don't know a hip hop without white people, I've seen artists that I'm from Atlanta, right? I've seen Tip before he signed. I've seen Jeezy before he signed. I've seen Mac O'Key, whatever these artists before they signed, before white people got involved. So that tells me that I didn't need what I've seen. You're right. I don't know hip hop, the mainstream, without white people, but I've seen hip hop without white people involved, and I still loved it just the same. So that's just a response to you, Chase.
As far as the sentence too, do white people belong in hip hop? This is what I've been hearing for hours now, misconstruing. It's not the word belong, it's the sentence. It should be either do white people belong in hip hop, which means participation or membership, or does hip hop belong to white people? That's what I keep hearing. Everybody get this mixed up.
No, I don't think anybody ever questioned do it belong, y'all. It don't. We never question that.
Yeah, we ain't question that at all.
But
Like,
so,
we just
the way the sentence is phrased
we just know
is
that
participation and membership.
every part of our
I just don't want him to think that's
yo, hold on. We just hold on. We just have to establish that every part of our culture has been colonized, marginalized, oppressed, and controlled by people who don't come from it. And that's it. It ain't that deep, yo. Like a nigga could be in hip hop and rap and get respect. Like I fuck with Search, I fuck with Appy, I fuck with y'all. But as long as y'all can establish the understanding and know that's it for me, for real. I mean, I can't kick you out or wish you were gone. Like it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But we just got to establish that respect, because at this point, you know, it's hard for people coming out of the ghetto and coming from poverty-stricken neighborhoods, dilapidated school systems. I mean, we got so much against us that we just got to establish that. And I mean, that's just that. It ain't even nothing to go back and forth with each other about.
In my team or whatnot. And I can only speak for myself, my own personal experience is like, you work hard, you do certain things, and you'll have a moment where Black men will sit on a platform with a white woman, allow her to tell lies and disrespect you. Don't say anything, but these same certain Black men on that platform you have helped build their careers, and they'll allow this person who has come into an industry that does not even belong to them to diminish you and say all of this stuff and not say anything. And then on top of that, an artist will then use his platform to amplify, instead of speaking for Black women or just Black people in general, will amplify for this white person. So to me, it's kind of a twofold. I get it. At the same time, saying I look at it as Black people should be able to profit off first on what we created and what we started. But at the same time, Black people cannot give certain Black people cannot give white people this notoriety or making them feel like they have this fucking privilege where they can disrespect or cut the fucking line. And it really is about accountability on both ends.
Preach. I felt that
part.
I was waiting for somebody to say some real shit.
Karen Civil is spitting that flame.
Shit is so valid, because I'm sitting there and I'm listening. This is Kay Slay, right? And when you say accountability, Black people got to take a whole lot of accountability, because as I look in this room, and I won't expose certain individuals for their situations, but how many people in this room got fucked over by a Black man in this motherfucking industry?
Yes, sir.
And not a white man. Okay?
Crazy.
Let's get to that shit right there. And not trying to change the course of the situation, but my first deal, I got robbed for $350,000 out of a budget from a Black man. And I had to get, rest in peace, Chaz from Black Hand and JP, to come up to the office, tell security, act like you're not here, open the window and tell them, unless somebody gonna fly, I'm out this deal. And they got me out that situation. Then I went over to Stoney. And then here's Dave McPherson. He puts me in the first NFL Street game that came out. I'm a character in there and everything, so on and so forth. They paid for a video for $75,000. Come to find out, they got $1.2 million for that situation. So that's another Black man. You understand what I'm saying? So when you speak accountability, like I heard one of the young ladies say, we got to clean up this shit amongst ourselves and stop fucking over each other. Then start to weed out who we need to push to the side and get out the game, because we get fucked over more by our own in this industry more than any other nationality. We have to just be honest with that shit.
Yo, and we sit back and watch it happen. We all watch it happen. We don't say nothing. We watch that shit happen. And then we be like, damn, that's fucked up. We be like, that's fucked up, man. You know,
a white attorney to come clean that shit up.
That nigga Lowe's supposed to been this nigga that supposed to been that. It's like you sitting right there. You got power, you got positioning, you got leverage. We don't do it. We don't reach out. We don't do that. So until we establish accountability, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that is like letting them in our house without no rules, because we not governing what we suppose our own responsibilities. You know,
niggas want to keep their white boss happy.
Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big facts.
That's all it come down to. A white man told them they can't do that, so they don't do that.
I mean, some niggas just don't like seeing other niggas too.
That too.
So look.
Yeah,
so
I'm
look,
gonna say, I ain't gonna blame it on the white boss.
So look, we done been in this room forever. We done went
to the hotepery. We done went to the white men doing whatever they was doing in here. We heard from the ladies. I think, I think through everything
break it out.
We've gotten to a certain point. I'm not sure where that point is, but we're there. So I think at this point it would only behoove us to pack this conversation for the night and thank me and Van for putting this out here, and we appreciate Bishop for being our white moderator this evening.
Did you just say thank me in vain?
Hold on.
Am I the only person who caught that?
That was amazing. That nigga Mouse said.
No, he's not a sociopath. Mouse is a megalomaniac. You need to properly diagnose him.
To thank me and
to the gulag.
Put him in the gulag. Mouse is a megalomaniac.
You gonna drop your Cash App, Mouse?
Who kicked him to the gulag? I'm crying.
Y'all misdiagnosed him. He's a megalomaniac. He's not a sociopath.
Ain't nobody sent no white man to the gulag today, but they want to send me to the gulag.
That's crazy. Yeah, hey, y'all ran Search up out of here though. He went
no,
man, y'all really
he went searching.
Search walk.
He went searching.
Everything Search said, cause that nigga Mouse was like, no.
No, I ain't gonna no. Hey, y'all ran that man up out of here. No. Some real shit. Some real shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and bro, and I'm not that dude, bro. But I'm telling you some real shit. The shit that he didn't even like. Van got real emotional when Search was talking, because I don't think Search, and this is part of the problem in which Mouse to Mouse and Van's point. I don't think that certain white people understand the things that they are saying when they're in real time. And so some of the shit that he was saying, and I know, B-Dot jumped in here and he didn't get context to what the fuck was going on. But in real life, Search jumped out the window and said some things that wasn't necessarily, he didn't have enough proof to what he was saying. And
they was inflammatory.
And he didn't have enough context to not sound disrespectful to the people who he was talking to, which is why he doubled back. He sat back and he was quiet for like 20, 30 minutes. And then he apologized for it because he knew that he probably overstepped a little bit, which is what we've been talking about this whole time. Is people overstepping in the culture.
You ain't hear my rebuttal yet? You ain't hear my rebuttal?
What?
To be that when I said, I know you ain't never seen no nigga on no nag.
Oh yeah, he called you. What's up,
bro? I've been at work. I don't know what y'all niggas got.
Yeah, I know you was on the air at the time.
B-Dot back.
That was bad.
I know he down there.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was just appropriate.
I know I'm late, but what did Search say? What exactly did Search say?
I mean, he said a bunch of shit. I mean, we don't need to revisit that shit.
Knife, it's gonna be all over YouTube in a few hours. But
yeah, somebody gonna post it.
You know what? To be real, I think he learned something. I hope he learned something. It was there for him.
He said he learned not to be. He said he learned so much, and then he said some bullshit right after that.
He learned not to be on stage with Mouse Jones. That's what the fuck he learned.
What did he say? Can you say one thing that he said? What did he say? Because I'm late.
It was Knife. It was more the tone.
He said he understands the black struggle in a nutshell, based upon the fact that he has auxiliary sources around him.
Including
he said a little bit more than
kids.
that.
Yeah, and he took on his kids' trauma, which was something else completely different.
The tone was a little dictatorial.
I think it's a classic case of intention not meeting action. That's all.
Yeah.
I got here in the fourth quarter, and I just watched him get up out of here. I'm like,
and then B-Dot snuffed me. Was like, do you know who that is? That's MC Search. You just King Los. You just King Los. You don't know. You act like he wasn't a part of third base.
Yo,
that's a fact, well, not just that. He's got other contributions.
Like you can't. Yeah, he's. I mean, I know he might have said some fuck. All right. Let me say this real quick. I know we about to close the room. Let me say this real quick. I hear the whole thing about. I think, and somebody said it earlier. I think we're getting the culture and the business confused. Of course, there are a bunch of people in this business that has controlled our business, that has put validation things in place that we still follow, like a lot of people have said, that shouldn't be in place, of course. But when we start talking about the Rick Rubins of the world, when we start talking about Roger Lynn, does anybody know who Roger Lynn is?
For sure.
Who is Roger Lynn?
Absolutely.
Anybody know who that is?
NPC, the fucking NPC.
Okay,
NPC man.
right, exactly.
The
We start talking
Lindrum.
about the person who created the MPC, which is, and even if we go before that, right? Even if we go before that, if we start talking about people like Bob James, who we've sampled the fuck out of, like
That's right.
This is we really have to watch what we're saying and understand what we're saying. When we talking about white people in this thing, we talk. Hello. When we talk about white people in this thing, of course, there's a lot of white people that don't belong in this shit. I 100% agree with that shit from bottom line. But when we start talking about Bob James, Roger Lynn, Rick Rubin, Ted Demme, because without Ted Demme, we don't have a UMTV Raps. Like we don't rest in peace Ted Demme, because a long time MTV did not play rap videos at all. They played Run DMC, that was it. It was Ted Demme that walked into that boardroom and was like, look, I want to have a rap show on this because there's a bunch of talent out here and they need as much airtime as a Duran Duran or anybody else. So we have to really watch when we say that white people don't belong in this, because we can't look at all of them when it comes to hip hop. We can't look at all of them as a model, as a monolith. We can't do that. Of course, there's some white people that's built some bullshit, but if we talk about the white people that was in the poor white people's movement around the time the Zulu Nation was around and all that shit, we talk about those white people. We talk about white people that was the only kids that was coming down to damn Lower Manhattan that was listening to Bambaataa when Bambaataa was coming from up Bronx, playing some German shit or whatever, the craft work and all this. We talk about Rick Rubin being the one that was in the dorm room with LL Cool J, making LL Cool J's records. And Rick Rubin signed Public Enemy after talking to damn Chuck D for 6 months in a row about signing the Def Jam. Because he knew that Chuck D had a voice and a conscious, he had a conscious voice that people needed to hear. If Rick Rubin don't sign Public Enemy, listen to what I'm saying. If he does not sign and convince Chuck D to say yeah, and Chuck D was like, well, I got Security of the First World, I got Professor Griff, I got a modern day Black Panther movement, and Rick Rubin was like, okay, that's what we need. If we don't have these people, if we don't have Bill Adler, if we don't have these people,
then we would all be free.
A lot of stuff that we said that we talking about in this room,
then we would all be free.
We won't be here.
Yeah, we would all be free.
We'd be working at the airport.
Yeah, we would all be free. Excuse me. We would all be free.
Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. What I mean when I say if we don't have these people,
we would be free. We would be free, and we can't establish our history.
Nah, we're not talking about that. King Los, hear me out, man. Hear me out. We're not talking about being free.
It hurt.
Because and I understand that, but we can't put that hurt on Rick Rubin. We can't.
No, he's just a visitor. He's just a visitor.
He's not.
He's not no visitor.
That man is not a visitor.
Yes, he is a visitor.
He's not.
Everybody is a visitor in Black culture.
Yo,
he is
one mic.
He is a visitor. You're not going to exalt him as a god in this. He's a visitor.
Hey, that's fucked up.
One mic, y'all. Yo, Knife Wonder just did. He just broke down some of the prominent white brothers who participated from the break beats that hip hop also was built off of. Even Aerosmith. Aerosmith really was the ones who run DMC, kicked in the door for white people to really start listening to us on the worldwide basis when they did Walk This Way with them.
Yo, this white history, man. They was contributors, brother. They
contributed to. No, they did contribute. This is what I'm trying to say is
that's what we saying.
These was records that we cut up in the park for the MCs to rap over and the B-boys to break dance too. It was also Caucasian brothers records that we used. It wasn't just James Brown, Sly and the Family Stone, and Funkadelic.
Hold on, I got a question.
You basically tell me if it wasn't for all these men, we'd be free today.
Bro, let K Slay finish, my nigga.
No, that's not what. Yeah, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying, and I 100% agree with K Slay. I'm not saying that we would not still do great things. What I'm saying is the basis. We're talking about Def Jam. We're talking about Def Jam. Like Def Jam is the label that stands, and because that label stands is the reason why a lot of us are here and why we're doing what we're doing. So to say that Rick Rubin is just only a contributor, being the fact that out of the two people that started Def Jam, Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin was the music guy. We're talking about music. Like, he was the music guy. Russell Simmons didn't touch no records.
Yeah,
like,
they just said
Well,
produced by Russ, but Russ
dude.
wasn't producing.
Hey, let me add something to that.
No.
Let me add something to that.
I have a
y'all probably don't
question.
know. Hold on one second. Jazzy J started Def Jam Records. Russell and Rick Rubin came on afterwards. Jazzy J was selling the records out of the trunk of his car. K Slade could attest to that. Jazzy J.
Exactly.
He started
Zulu
Def Jam.
So what happened? So what happened though?
What exactly what y'all talking about? Some brothers, some skin folk ain't kin folk.
What happened to why Jazzy J not an owner?
I just said it. Some skin folk ain't kin folk. But what Brother Mouse is saying, I have to agree with. You know,
that's me saying that.
Yeah, what he's saying, some of these, you know, some of our Caucasian people that we work with, they come into our culture and they contribute. So to say that he's a visitor is actually correct. But I mean, it's not. It's not diminishing. Hold on. Wait, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. To say he's a visitor, because listen, Dennis Coffey and the Detroit Guitar Band, they're not from the Bronx and they're not black. And so Michael Viner and the Incredible Bongo Band, he's white. Apache was, you see what I'm saying? And that's the national anthem of hip hop.
Apache
is that's the rock. We call that the rock. That's the national anthem of hip hop. If you didn't know, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of white people who came into hip hop way before Rick Rubin, way before that. You know what I'm saying? And so they come in and they contribute greatly. But
no, man, you're not.
But that's where it stops. Give him his props, but that's where it stops.
You got no.
Hey,
hold on.
DJ.
See, that's just a DJ digging in a crate, bro. They didn't.
Hold on. Hey, DXT. Now, for real though, bro. Like hearing all the shit that you said tonight, like you got to put that shit on paper, bro. Like for real, like the real.
Yeah, we need a book.
Shit.
Hey, Grand Mix, yo, you be dropping.
Hey, listen, man, I'm dropping shit because listen. This is for us. You know what I'm saying?
No. But
it's for us.
Yeah, see, look.
I got more ammo, bro. What I'm saying to you is these are tidbits, bro. I got brain grenades. And so these are just tidbits. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I got shit, big brother.
Got you, but I'm just saying, look, we need that shit written down as history before we look at history and it's written down. How motherfuckers want to write it down?
It's coming, bro. It's in the word.
Listen. The room has gone many places tonight, and the fact that we are combating the White History Hour, I don't like it. Let's end this room. Appreciate everybody. We've been here for 5-6 hours.
Wait, hold on, Mouse.
I'm gonna tell you though,
Janae had a question.
Hey, Los, it's bigger than that though. Want me to tell you why? Because what it is, right? And gotta no disrespect now, Los.
No, that's Mouse.
The people
Do we sound alike?
listen.
No, that was Mouse, tune.
Yes,
okay, no.
Y'all sound alike, yo. Y'all sound alike.
Okay, earlier it was Los. Okay, but what I'm saying is, okay. Well, what I'm saying is most of the people who don't disagree, I mean, the people who disagree with the people who still calling Rick Rubin and a lot of the other people visitors, I notice y'all are a certain age bracket. Only the older ones really respect that shit. For some reason. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, too, we got mad respect for it, but I'm just saying if it's a culture that's
it seemed like the 40,
right?
40,
a lot of the properties of the culture came from ancestral lineage. That's why it's in our blood.
That's
right?
later on. That's something that you found out, bro.
Listen, what I'm saying. When we talk about, but listen, what I'm saying. When we talk about foundation, right? We just saying that they contributed. We are the foundation of all this shit, but they were contributors. They might have built a level, a layer. They might have built a deck, a swimming pool, some fly shit, an infinity pool. But we are the foundation of this shit, and they just contributors, and that's how it got to be.